Governor Tim Walz won't seek re-election amid fraud scandal scrutiny. Not going to be governor anymore either. He's out. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz announced today he is dropping his re-election bid for a third term as scrutiny grows now over his handling of a massive fraud scandal in his state. Every minute I spend defending my own political interests would be a minute I can't spend defending the people of Minnesota against the criminals who prey on our generosity and the cynics who prey on our differences, Walz said in a statement, who still projected confidence of his ability to win a third term had he remained in the race. Walz's announcement marks a stunning turnabout for the Minnesota governor who less than 2 years ago was tapped as the 2024 vice presidential nominee, widely floated as a potential 2028 White House candidate. Prosecutors allege as much as roughly $9 billion was stolen by various groups in Minnesota who purported to have provided meal assistance for children in need, in addition to other social safety net services that were reimbursed through state agencies. Follow the money. Where there's money, crooks will come. The Hill with some of the reporting here. We appreciate it. President Trump, House Majority Whip Tom Emmer, Republican out of Minnesota, other Republicans, criticized Walz and his administration for the growing scandal, with the Trump administration saying it was considering revoking Somali American citizenship if they were implicated in the fraud. Many of the people charged in the scandal are of Somali descent. Minnesota is home to roughly about 80,000 Somali descent residents, vast majority being U.S. born or naturalized citizens. They're still citizens, even though I know you want to go to the Supreme Court. We're waiting to hear what they have to say about what is already settled case law. Who knows what they'll say? You'll do what you want to do anyway. Walz's administration, which has suggested tens of millions of dollars were likely stolen, far short of the $9 billion figure suggested by prosecutors, has taken steps toward addressing the issue, including auditing more than a dozen Medicaid services, tapping Tim O'Malley, former superintendent of the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, as Minnesota's director of program integrity. So the scandal increasingly became a political liability for Walz in recent months, especially after a video by conservative YouTuber Nick Shirley went viral. Trump administration froze child care funding to the state of Minnesota in response to the viral video that purports to expose extensive fraud by federally funded daycare centers. However, Shirley's specific allegations have not been verified, some challenging them in recent days. I mean, anybody with a little, what's he got, one of those cameras on a tripod, a phone or something, and he just starts spouting off. And he had the power, this one privileged kid, to, well, hurt a lot of people, despite the admitted fraud that's going on there. Not everybody, and now you're hurting people. Shirley has a history of dishonesty. It includes paying immigrant laborers to hold pro-Biden signs, clearly hoping voters would think they were self-motivated. In another video, he claimed Portland had, quote, fallen and Antifa had taken control of the city. Unvarnished lie. CNN verified that children were being dropped off at a daycare center Shirley had targeted. Minnesota Star Tribune visited the daycares in question, found when they were allowed access, children playing and napping peacefully. CBS News reviewed security footage showing kids being dropped off at one targeted center. Others were indeed empty. They'd gone out of business before Shirley filmed outside the building. Massive statewide fraud scandal in Minnesota is threatening to become a liability for Democrats in the state's closely watched Senate race this year. In particular, some Democrats think the widespread money laundering scheme, which is estimated to have stolen as much as roughly $9 billion, again, that's what prosecutors say, could be a problem for the Lieutenant Governor, Peggy Flanagan, the second in command to Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. Flanagan is running against Representative Angie Craig, Democrat out of Minnesota, for the party's nomination to replace Senator Tina Smith out of Minnesota. Look, who knows what's going to happen there? And Amy Klobuchar may become governor, something. Fraud is happening. Tim Walz who seems to like an honorable person, can also be guilty of falling asleep at the wheel or, this has been going on for a long time. Was investigated under other administrations. Okay, it's not like Trump discovered this fraud. It's been going on a long time. To just drop out though and run away. In other times, you might say, well, that's honorable. He doesn't want to be the distraction. But my thing is this: with Tim Walz, who's done a lot of great things in Minnesota, small and big, he's actually gotten his lunch bill and he's gone to work and he's done a lot of great things. To just up and leave and not knowing who's going to inherit the house, that's a problem. Stay and fight. Whoever's up next is going to be a distraction too. Stay and fight. What good is leaving going to do? That's what I would ask him. It's a very noble speech, this New Year's Day, whenever he posted this stuff. It's noble. But who going to take your place? If it's another Democrat, it's still going to be scrutiny. Real, perceived, overblown. It's still going to be scrutiny. So I don't see a good reason to do this and leave the people of Minnesota who you claim to love, and I believe you love Tim Walz, in the lurch. I would, if I were one of his advisors, and they didn't kick me out of the room, I would say, why, for what purpose? What does that do to help the people of Minnesota? I would got him to stay.